Now back to Just Energy Radio with Dr. Rita Louise.
Hello and welcome back to Just Energy Radio. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for participating in that second break that we took today. But we needed to change out guests, which meant we had to go to a break. But don't forget, Just Energy Radio is brought to you by soulhealer.com, where you can find out about all of the products and services I offer. So in this last segment, we saved the best for last. We're going to be talking with a good friend of mine, Dakara Kies. Let me tell you a little bit about her and get her on the air. Dakara Kies is a gifted intuitive healer that specializes in clearing core issues and blocks that hold you back from stepping into your true power, passion, and purpose. Working with the inner child to bless, heal, and nurture the most sacred parts of ourselves. So from DakaraKies.com, it's Dakara. Hi, Dakara.
Hi.
How are you? I'm good. So, today we're doing a product show, and one of the things that I know that you are an expert in is the whole concept of flower essences and vibrational remedies that are more in the clear your personal energy space, clear your space in general. And that was really what I wanted to talk to you about, is that whole concept of clearing space. Because I think that, people's houses can get stagnant energy in them. We had Jeremy Jones on in the first hour talking about ghosts and measuring ghost activity. And there goes Miss Bitsy. She says hi.
Hi, Bitsy.
Like, oh, ghost. Oh, no, it's the ghost of Wendy. All right, now she's on my desk. She's a happy girl right next to the microphone. Anyway, so can you, people know flower essence or aromatherapy oils or even gem elixirs of things that you would normally consume, but can you use products like that to actually work on your environment?
Oh, definitely. And inspired by you and your Dark Angels book, because we had talked a couple of years ago about creating some products that would be in alignment with that book. And I've, been busy with all my work and my healing work as a master energy healer. And when you invited me to participate in this call, I put together a beautiful blend. And for the fun part, because I know a lot of your listeners are ghost hunters and in the paranormal field, so it's called Ghostbuster Spray, and it's intended to actually spray around you, spray into the room. And I've got a whole bunch of good juicy stuff that the guides gave me about the blend that's been created, as well as kind of some of the properties of all of the components that went into it. Well, so I'm excited to share. Yeah.
Well, it seems like, and this is just my observation, and that was why I wanted to have you on the show, because I knew you were coming out with this formula, was because it seems like there's just been a lot more activity going on with people in their homes. I don't really understand if people are just becoming more aware of what's going on around them, or if there's something going on the planet that is stirring up more of this spiritual ghost energy. But it just seems like there's more stuff going on. So I think this product is very timely.
Yes, and I look at it as we've shifted into the more fifth dimensional energies. People are awakening. They're tuning in. They're sensing things more. They're becoming more empathic. They're feeling stuff that they really maybe didn't observe as much before. Maybe they believed in something, but they didn't observe it or didn't have a physical reaction. And then there's the sensitive people that have been feeling stuff for a long time and maybe have found different tools to assist them with not taking on other people's stuff and the energies. And if there's negative energies or if, there's ghosts, if there's energies that are stuck in a home, in an environment, in a space, that's not serving the energy that's stuck or the people that either, if it's an office place or a home, it's not serving them either, because then they're having to manage that energy on top of their own daily life and their own energy bodies.
question. So this formula, I mean, you're calling it Ghostbuster spray, but sometimes a ghost is stuck in an environment because, it's afraid or, as I like to say, it has issues. And so if you're using this product, does it more keep them out so that you can own the space, or are there some properties in it that if you do have a ghost that's stuck for whatever emotional reason, would actually help them to start working through some of their own stuff?
It would help them, partly help move them into the light. So some of the key things that I wrote up was supports discarnates or ghosts that may have feared death to accept the changes for their soul and move into the light. It also calls forth and brings in angels that will actually assist them to move into the light. So it can help them move into the light where then they can actually deal with whatever was keeping them stuck. It's not that they have to figure it all out and process it all now. I mean, sometimes through a person or there's a message or whatever, but the message can still come to the person or that connection once they've moved to the other side completely. It doesn't have to happen while they're stuck, in this kind of, earthbound energy. They can actually move, and then whatever connections or energies that need to happen can still happen for the person when they're on the other side.
Well, and having their angels come in and their guides come in, one of my observations has been that, it's kind of like they want company. They want somebody to hold their hand and let them know that it's going to be okay. And I think if they get that kind of support, it might make it easier for them to take that next step into the light as well.
Yes, agreed. And so one of the flower essences in here creates a direct connection to the angelic realm that can assess or assist with, the energies, the ghosts, and move them into the light. It's almost like them bringing this energy of peace into the space, because then it's no longer stuck, or us and our humanness aren't going to feel that any longer because the energy is no longer there.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
part of
go ahead. No, go ahead.
That it actually, the guides told me this particular proprietary blend does actually create a doorway. So the angels will come in, it creates a doorway that will assist them through that doorway, so they can gracefully exit. Then whatever stuff, as I mentioned before, they can work on when they're on the other side.
Okay, but what if the, entity that you want to leave is like, somebody and they still have a body? Will it create a door and they can just step onto the other side? I know a lot of people that would pay a lot of money for that.
No, not for those in physical form to create exit. That's hilarious. But it will support us in physical form and sleeping better and just having a better sense of clarity and well-being when we're not having to interface with those non-physical energies that are interfering with our day-to-day life.
Well, you know what I was just thinking? So this would be probably an excellent formula for parents to use with their children. I mean, because one of the things that I've seen regularly is that little kids, very psychic little kids, will create these vortexes and invite people in, their little playmates, different people. They'll invite this creepy guy in, not meaning to, because they just open the doorway and they'll step through, and now they have the scary guy in the corner.
Yes, and this would assist with that as well. And, I think a lot of the crystal, rainbow, indigo children, those higher vibrational children that do see a lot, it's like, until they kind of come into that understanding, I mean, I think a lot of them are very smart in seeing things, but they don't always know how to process things until maybe they're a little older, or if they have parents that understand and can interface and actually, not tell them that they're crazy or that they're not really seeing anything. So I think it's, twofold. It depends on the parents, and then it depends on the child and at what point they're at.
Right. But I mean, if you have a child that's really small, so let's say, under 8, if it can help clear the room and clear the environment, so that the child can be in that space, that would be great.
Yeah, phenomenal. Because part of the other attributes, there is 24 karat gold gem elixir in this formula. So that really brings in a phenomenal amount of light and creates a higher resonance within that frequency. So by using this in the room, it's going to create that resonance, and it's not resonance in that it's going to keep people active and awake. It actually just brings that calm and that peace and that knowing that the light is there to support us. So for young children, clearing that space and giving them that, it might actually help support bringing in their angels or other beings that can help them understand more, or maybe be their non-physical teachers that they'll get more information from. Even children under 8. I think I'm astounded at what comes out of young children's mouths now and their understanding of things, the higher vibrational children.
Mm-hmm. Well, they understand it, but it doesn't, especially if you have a parent that really doesn't understand, or isn't open to what's going on, and so they can't help explain it to the child or reassure the child, you know what I mean? And I think that's where the biggest conflict comes in for those children, is that, they're just kind of left there. It's like, okay, I'm seeing this man, and they're going, nah, 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 and now they're getting scared, versus, helping them work through the energy, and so it would be an easy fix.
Yeah, this also has the qualities to help link the past and the future, like cause and effect, actions and consequence energy. So for those higher vibrational children, I think it would also assist them in connecting into, their past life energies. They came in with a high vibration at this time on the planet for a reason, and it can help support them connecting in on a deeper level.
Well, that's cool. I'm going to kind of go in a little bit different area, but it almost sounds like if somebody was maybe even depressed, or just in a bad place, that this might help to create a space for them that they can be in and reestablish their own themselves.
Yes. And actually, out of the 12 kind of points of qualities about this blend, one of them that I wrote down is like perfect that you asked that, is it supports from being apathetic due to dwelling on negative energies or what's affecting us. Many times when there's ghosts or entities, thought forms, it's affecting us on a physical level, and that's part of what can connect into that that depression. So this can actually help bring in the light, bring in the clarity, kind of lift that junk off so that somebody can move out of that kind of depressed feeling into a place of clarity and understanding.
It's like you just have me like all these questions going through my mind. And then of course they have to go, in a very evil area. So let's say here's a hypothetical situation. No, not me. Here's a hypothetical situation. So you're at work, okay?
Yeah.
And the woman in the cubicle next to you has really bad mojo, and you think she might have an entity, or she just has really bad mojo, and her personality is constantly changing, which to me is a pretty good sign. Is it something that you can, and I'm going to say ethically use to, even if you just use it in your space to keep your space clear of her bad mojo? Would that be something you could do?
Ethically, yes, if you're using it in your own space. Where you might, push that envelope is, spraying it into their space. I wouldn't just spray it on the person without their permission. But, if you came in early and sprayed it in the space and kind of cleaned it up, that person may come in and just like, wow, I kind of have a better attitude or outlook on life today. I don't know that is so much an issue, because in a way, I don't see that as being unethical. Unethical to me would be like just going up and spraying the person, like, oh, you're stinky with bad juju. I'm going to take care of that for you. But you went there. I think that spraying the space and what might happen too for what the guys just popped in, it's like if you're clearing your own space, your own cubicle, and you're holding your light in your resonance, whatever's going on with that, cub mate or work mate across there, that light may be shining so intensely that they put in a request to move because they can't even stand being in that space, in that cubicle anymore. So, to keep it completely ethical without any question, if you're just spraying your own space, taking care of your own self, then that's going to be the place that you can do the most for your own well-being. Mm-hmm. And then they may notice, because, when you're using a misting product, it's going to kind of filter out into the air. It's not like, it just is confined to, like, I have a plastic box and it's only going this far. So, again, different things could happen. They could just request to be moved, or their disposition and energy may start shifting.
Well, that would be pretty good. But I am going to put out the little caveat warning, because I've seen this happen too, is sometimes if somebody is deeply ingrained in their stuff, that you do anything to shift their energy space and they will react, especially if they have a big entity attachment happening.
Yes.
The entity will react, but then, see, this is my favorite part, because you do something like that and then you get these reactions that are happening that sometimes aren't that pleasant, but you've done something. To me, that is like the ultimate validation. It's like, well, I cleared the energy in this space, and then the next day everybody came in and like jumped on my case. It's like, woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many different scenarios that could play out with that. I think what's important, anything that anybody's using, you could be wearing a pendant, or you could be wearing something that's just going to keep your space. This is going to cleanse your space and help you hold that vibration, especially as that 24 karat gold starts integrating into your field, because it will continue to hold that resonance and it will build up. So the cool thing with having the gold in there is it'll start boosting on every level as you use the product consistently.
Well, that's pretty good. And so would it make you more resistant? So, let's stay with this work scenario thing for a minute. Would it make you be more resistant to being affected by that other person's bad mojo?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty good.
It's almost kind of like you wouldn't even, if you're not holding the energy or the resonance, or, that person might just, one, they could ask for a transfer. Who knows? There's so many things, and they just aren't going to be in your space. If we go to some basics of, like attracts like, not saying that everybody that has, bad juju people around them have something, but there's something to either learn or a lesson. But if you feel like I'm complete, I'm choosing not to allow that energy into my space or into my field anymore, and you start using, whether it's this product or something else, you're taking care of yourself and your own well-being. And that's the pivotal point of maybe that was the lesson for the person to learn with having that person by them, is to step into their own power and hold space in whatever way they're choosing to do that.
Good answer. So one of the other things that you told me was in this product was tourmaline. What is that? Yeah,
black tourmaline is an exceptional grounding and protection. And actually, there's a stone. The actual rock itself went into the bottle, is what the guides told me to do. So I have a bottle right here. I don't know if you can hear. I'm kind of dingling it with. You can hear the stone rattling around. So that's the cool part, is that vibration of the black tourmaline will continue to integrate, into the product and just keep coming out. So, if somebody was taking this to work, just having this in your cubicle as a product is actually going to help ground and protect that space.
Well, and I guess if you're having issues in your house, you could keep it on the side of your bed, maybe.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, because I know that black stones in general tend to be very absorbing and very grounding and stuff like that, right?
Right. And one of the flower essences in it also supports the root chakra for clearing and grounding out unwanted energies. So the concept, kind of as a snapshot, is it brings in the angels, it brings in these higher light frequencies, it brings in that all chemical gold energy for transformation. And then it has the grounding part. So whatever's like maybe in your field that's not lifting out can actually ground down. So that's kind of the cool thing in the way that the guides, put this together.
But what else is cool is, first chakra is really associated with fear and the vibration of fear. And when we're in that place, we can't let anything go, but it also creates an attachment point for a ghost to stay. And so if you're grounded, if your personal space is grounded, there's not anything for them to really latch onto anymore. So then why would they want to hang around you?
Right, exactly. And so that's another element. Is the formula also supports the energy field by balancing your sympathetic forces that keeps your aura from being overly absorbent and helps establish like emotional boundaries. So it helps avoid dysfunctional merging with other energies. So for some of us that are, very heightened and sensitive, we feel everything. Some people do that and they don't feel it because their sensitivity level isn't up to that point. So we can help with not just clearing, but also sustaining and keeping you kind of protected and grounded so that you're not inviting other bad juju in.
But that's really good. I mean, because one of the things that I've seen with quite a number of people is that, they're kind of like they're kind of like a spook magnet,
Yes.
and it's kind of like a really mixed thing because their energy, they have this very bright, light energy, but in the same time, they kind of don't really have boundaries. And so they'll attract all of this stuff to them, and then they don't really know what to do to get rid of it again. And they kind of get stuck in this catch-22.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think that's why they blended it the way they did. And I found it amusing that they wanted to call it Ghostbuster Spray because, it's just kind of, but it's in alignment with, what we had talked about, from your previous book and just kind of puts I'm going to say in a way, a fun spin, even though dealing with ghosts isn't necessarily always fun, but it kind of, in the name itself tells the story of how it can support somebody's well-being.
So Jim in the chat room put spook repellent. Well, maybe you need to put like like the Raid. No, then it would look like Ghostbusters anyway. But I was thinking like the Raid commercial with the little bug with its feet up with the circle and the line through it. But that would still look like Ghostbusters. But
yeah.
Not.
Well, and I don't.
All right, never mind on that idea.
I put my logo on the label because I didn't want to have to go figure out something non-copyrighted or make something. It's like, that was like way more work and investment of my time for a silly little image. So we just went with my label with a beautiful glowing pink orb behind it to help people stay centered in their heart. There's sacred geometry in my logo and there's an energy to it. So just that logo being in someone's presence does actually help as well.
Cool. And so we have about 3 minutes left. So do you want to use this little bit of time, maybe talk about some of the other flower essence or spray products you have, your webpage, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I put the Ghost Buster spray right on Dakara.com. If you go there, you'll see a link, or you can do /GB for ghostbuster.html. I do personal blends. I have over 300 different flower essences that I create custom blends to help people with whatever the emotional energies or just life situations and how you're stuck in that energy. Flower essences, in the fact that they work on a vibrational level, they go in and with that consistent use, they start creating this new vibration. And if you think about, that law of resonance when, let's say you have a harp and you strum one of the strings on the harp and another harp next to it, that same note or that same string is going to start vibrating. So with consistent use of the essences, it does help create this new vibrational frequency in you, and people, generally will just start feeling better and not focusing on, maybe they've got a lot of monkey mind, repetitive negative thoughts going on. So that's where flower essences can really take people over the hump of the stuff that's, they're dealing with. I'm at Dakara-essences.com. I've got several different blends and energies. I'm in the process of converting that onto a WordPress platform. So I had to think about the name, and just next when I get that done, we'll take the hyphen out. And there's many different. There's an angelic protection blend on there. There's a chakra group. There's ground and release, divine love for the heart and the 3 chakras, and then the chakras above the head and above is awakened to spirit. So if you visit, I know we don't have much time left. If you visit that site, there's a lot of pre-made blends, and then I do custom blends. And it's amazing the power that these flower essences, similar to a homeopathic, can shift people. Nature has such exquisite ability to heal us in so many different ways. Just spending time in nature, by a brook or a waterfall, or just getting our feet on the ground and allowing ourselves to connect with that Mother Earth energy can just provide such powerful healing. And then when we start working with the flowers, whether it's flower essences or essential oils or gem elixirs and the stones, again, nature just has so much to offer us on so many levels.
That's really good. So I know the music's supposed to be coming up here any second, and or if it's like last week, I just never even heard it. So, there it is. See, it just like pops up in my head. Dakara, thank you so much for coming on, and I will talk to you again soon.
Yay! Thank you, Rita. Thanks.
All right. That's Dakara Kies. Her webpage is dakarakies.com. And next week, we're going to be having Brad Steiger on, and in the second hour, Rabbi Wayne Dossing. So I want to thank everyone that came on the show today. I want to thank Jamie, our engineer, for keeping things up and running. And so until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Just Energy Radio. Be blessed.
Join host Dr. Rita Louise each week at this time for Just Energy Radio. Point your browser